You're listening to Moose's Monster Mash.
Welcome, horror hounds, to another all-new episode of Moose's Monster Mash. I'm your host, Moose, and this is the second of 3 promised all-new episodes in the month of September. And with me is friend, horror fanatic, and return guest, writer, director, producer, and just somebody who likes to crank out movies. Please welcome back Mr. A.J. Chambers.
Hello.
Hello again. Oh, man. So, how's your life going?
It's going great. I just finished the movie and got more stuff coming up.
So you essentially sold out. You almost sold out the Draft House, Alamo Draft House for your premiere.
Those first 2 rows in the theater.
Nobody really wants to sit in those anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't count that.
I am curious. What is it like? What does it take to get essentially that private theater screening essentially to do the the movie premiere?
So a lot of times you have to actually rent the theater. The Alamo in Omaha just plays my movies as for a premiere as a regular movie, and I just get a cut of the box office.
Nice.
I think that's because when I brought Lloyd Kaufman into town, we were supposed to do a showing of 2 of his movies, and he was going to do a signing and everything, but they didn't have enough time to open at the end of COVID. So they're like, well, this guy has connections, and I don't know, but
this guy does things. Let's
yeah.
Let's
and
keep
they know
it
I can
fresh.
sell the theater out. Yeah.
No, that's cool. And the pictures all look like it was a fun night. Seemed like everybody had a blast.
Oh yeah.
And
we did the Q&A.
For listeners, this is Babezilla versus the Cyber Skanks Rise of Mecha Babezilla.
Yep.
Which
and I've got another showing coming up pretty soon too. It's going to be in Kansas City. I'm not sure on the date yet. It's going to be sometime in November.
Ooh.
And that's going to be a double feature. It's going to be Babezilla versus the Zombie Horde and versus the Cyber Skanks.
So it's right after she defeats the Zombie Horde. It's going to pick right up.
Yep.
Awesome. That's the best way to watch these.
Oh yeah.
And
under the influence
these are
too.
Absolutely. I'm gonna say these are definitely bingeable movies. Because they run admittedly long television episodes, but they're like TV show. It's like a TV show. Where it's all right, cool.
All my movies end up being about an hour long, and I just think that's due to my lazy writing.
So let's take it back to where Babezilla came from originally. How did Babezilla come about?
So Babezilla came from actually After School Lunch Special 2. I had bought this foam latex lizard mask for one of the scenes, and we only used it for 10 seconds in the movie. And I was like, I'm not going to waste $50 on this lizard mask, or it was like a prosthetic. So I decided I was going to make another movie using that. And then I had a blast working with Stephanie Love. She did great in that movie. So I was like, let's use her again before she goes off and becomes a huge star. So I was like, okay, what can we do with a lizard face and Stephanie Love? And I was like, okay, Babezilla. And then, the rest is just make up some dumb shit to put in the movie.
Well, in that same vein, Babezilla versus Cyber Skanks, her story's kind of her story.
Yeah.
That was kind of funny.
I base it kind of loosely off of Stephanie's life.
That like watching it, that was hilarious. Like, you know, I didn't have to be a stripper anymore. I could go be a porn star, and then it's like
Yeah.
just really crappy porn. It's like, and then it's like good porn later, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
you know, it's like that's good, you know. And I mean, I know they always say write what you know, but it's fun when you can interject life into fiction.
Yeah, definitely.
Babezilla versus the Cyber Skanks.
Hmm.
We have it's a it's very similar to like the old Godzilla movie where you have, you know, Mecha Godzilla and robots and things like that, but it's like topless women and titty twisters and so when you're shooting these scenes, what's the feel on set? You know,
Oh,
is there any like trepidation? Is it just all right, cool, action and we roll? You know, what's that like?
well, everybody's having a blast. So, except I'm always like super stressed out trying to get it's like kind of like herding cats. Everybody wants to chit chat and everything, but it's always fun, and I'm a pretty easy director to work with. I'm like, I want to see what you thought the script. I want your take on what you got from the script. So I just kind of let them go. Well, I give them some direction, obviously, but the character building is all on them, and you see that a lot with Kevin Hesacker. Like he came up with most of his dialogue on his own. He rewrote everything.
Did the robot women were those all the original designs, or did you modify those as it kind of went? Like the buzzsaw arms and like the hydraulic clamp arms and
Yeah, I came up with all the ideas for those, and then I had a guy named Matt Schultz help me build them. We just went to the hardware store and the craft store and got whatever we could find, and he had it all in his head how he was going to build them. I had drew some crappy sketches. This is what I want. I need some saw hands, some chainsaw boobs, and some big clamp hands.
the chainsaw boobs are a little titillating. The clamp hands I think were probably my favorite.
Yeah.
You know, because they're so multi-purpose, and you know, and this is where, you know, listeners, we get that spoiler warning. You see just some of the deaths you get with them. You know, where there's just squeezing the head like a zit, or you know, I mean, it's just there's so much you can do with the saw.
Yeah,
but
some of them she just smacked him in the head with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's so multi-purpose that it could be a hammer, it could be I'm gonna squish you like a zit. At one point, it was used for a titty twister, and I'm looking like that would fucking hurt. Like there's no finesse on those things.
No.
You know, and it's just like, good Lord. You know, and
she asked for it too, though.
Yeah. And then here comes Mecha Babezilla, the antithesis of Babezilla. And it's just like, okay, cool. Now there's two.
Yep. Mecha Babezilla has all the same powers, only a little bit stronger. And that's pretty much the whole plot of the movie is Babezilla has to go train to find a new technique to beat Mecha Babezilla because she can't beat her with her original powers because she out lasers her.
Well, and so this one kind of had like an anime feel to it.
Yeah.
In that vein of like, all right, I'm strong. And then here come all these, you know, new monsters. And, oh, I'm not strong enough.
Yeah.
So okay, I'm gonna go train. I'm gonna go find the wise man,
Yeah.
and uh, I'm gonna learn the new shit and see what happens.
Yeah. I pulled from a lot of things in this movie. I parody a lot of stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Pai Mei from Kill Bill. I parody Karate Kid, Star Wars. Yeah, a
Like,
whole bunch of stuff.
I don't know. I half expected the wise man to look like Master Roshi from Dragon Ball.
That would have been funny. We didn't want to have to shave Jess's head though.
End of the day, Babezilla wins the day, and she moves on with her life, and so we think.
Yeah, we set it up for a third movie, and that was originally just a gag. I was just gonna make it like a joke, like, "Oh, she's gonna be back in this movie," and then we never make that movie. But then when I said that on set, Stephanie was like, "Oh, we're not gonna make it." So I was like, "Okay, we'll make a third movie. If you're down to do it, I'm down to do it."
Well, and so it was. What was it? Attack from Uranus or something?
It was Babezilla versus the turds from Uranus.
That's right. And I saw that pop up, and it made me wonder: will that cross over with Attack of the 50-Foot Sphincter?
I've had people ask that. We could.
I mean, it feels like it'd be in the same realm. Like, where else are giant turds going to come from? How else are they going to come to Earth?
Yeah, I mean, this is my plan was like a race of turd monsters, and she has to wipe them out. Yeah, and I want to
explains the
take this
toilet
one
paper
to
shortage.
space. Yeah, the president gets kidnapped by a spaceship, so she's gonna have to go fight those turds in space.
Turds in space. Having watched this and watching a lot of your films, they're not serious films. I mean,
No.
they're serious films, but they're not like you sit down, you go through this range of emotions. Your movies are designed to take you out of life for about an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
sit down and got it.
It's fucking great.
Yeah, I did make one semi-serious. Like it was a little darker, had some serious things going on in it. We had a little bit of humor, but that was Less Magic in the Witch's Sabbath. That one wasn't so ridiculous.
I say no, it wasn't as ridiculous as the others, but it's still like, and I think it's your writing style. It just you have a way of like your films are an escape.
Yeah,
and I think it's one of the things, like the top thing I really love about your movies is that you can sit down and for that hour you're watching it, it doesn't matter what's going on around you. You're gonna laugh, you're gonna forget what's going on, and you're just gonna go on this wild ride.
yeah,
And damn it, that's what a movie's supposed to do.
absolutely. That's what I mean. I've loved movies that you can just shut your brain off and laugh at, and yeah, to escape from life for a little bit.
So let's go back to the beginning of you. What got you interested in making movies?
Oh, let's see. I mean, I've always been interested. In high school, I did a little bit of like video making, and then I had a YouTube show with my siblings. And then I don't know. Eventually, I was watching some crappy movies, and I was like, I could do this. Like I think I was watching Troll 2, and I was like, this would
That'd be
be
about
so
the
much
epitome
fun.
of crappy movies.
It would be so much fun to make a movie like this. And I was like, if I only had the time and the money. And then I was like, you know what? Screw the time and the money. I'll make it work. So I started giving it my best shot, and they get better and better every time, I think.
Well, I mean, definitely, you find you find yourself a little bit more with each one.
Yeah.
Um, like you compare the two Babezillas, side by side, and
Yeah.
what I find is like graphic placement's better, and it's just the comedic timing's better in the new one, and it's just it's the film industry, from what I've learned in the 5 years of doing this podcast. It's a learn as you go business. You could go to school for years and learn everything they have to teach you, but it's still going to be learn as you go.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And
Yeah, I mean,
the more you put out.
A lot of people say the best film school is making films.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's honestly, it's the same with anything in life. The best experience is actual experience. So
Yeah,
that's why, like, when you see people sitting there just like hardcore critiquing movies online with like, and not even critiquing, just like slamming movies online, it's like, well, go out and make one.
yeah. They never even tried. They just sit in their room and like, oh, I'm just gonna bullshit and talk about this guy's movie, and I never even tried to make one. I don't know. I don't have any idea what it takes to make one.
Right. Like, I have one I started to write 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Guess what? It's still just sitting on my computer.
Yeah. It takes a lot of motivation, especially once you actually get into it. When you start doing it, like, oh, it's you have to have such a drive just to finish.
Oh yeah,
And
like that initial idea is great, and then you start to realize, oh, there's going to be a lot of work that goes into this.
Yeah.
And then the money that goes into it, and you're just like, well, shit.
But then once you finish, it's like an addiction. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I need to do it again.
Well, and that was about the same thing with the podcast. It was, all right, I did the one.
Yeah.
It's fun. All right, I'll do it again. All right, I guess I'll do it again. And
Yeah.
here we are like 5 years later, and it's like, oh, I guess I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah, you can't quit now.
So, if you could make any movie, 0 budget restraints, what would it be?
Oh man. I feel like that would still be pretty similar to the movies I'm making now. Only the thing is, like, if I had 0 budget restraints, I'd have more time. You know, I'd be able to polish it. I'd be able to polish a turd. Is what I'm saying. Like, because I love the movies that I make.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? There's a reason I make them. So I would just, spend more time on them.
So, we know Babezilla is going to be fighting turds.
Yeah.
What else do you have in mind for Babezilla, or is it turds and done?
I don't know. I always thought that it would be really cool to see a comic book version. I think if I had somebody who made comic books turn Babezilla into a comic, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And you probably go on forever, like coming up with silly stories, scenarios, and dirty jokes.
Well, I mean, to keep in the Godzilla vein, you'd have to have her face a giant ape, or I guess in Babezilla's case, a giant beaver.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that's all you gotta just come up with dirty jokes.
Friends and family seem very supportive of your endeavors.
Yeah, more friends, but my
well,
wife
the family
is
you choose.
Yeah. My wife is super supportive. She's always on set. She's always wanting to help out. So,
That's good.
and yeah, the crew usually, I mean, most of them work for free. We just do it because we like making movies, and I'm not making money. I put everything I make back into making movies. So it's all everybody just has fun. So we just keep it going.
Now, this is your second sequel to something you made.
Yeah.
Do you have any other sequels planned to anything?
There was one, but I don't know if I'm gonna do it now. I was going to make a sequel to Less Magic in the Witch's Sabbath, but not like a direct sequel. It was more like this movie happens because of the events in that movie. You
Mm.
know, like none of the same characters or anything, just kind of like in the same universe.
So, like a
But
spiritual successor?
yeah,
That'd
and
be fun.
that was going to be a women in prison movie, but like I don't have a prison. We do have access to a little jail, like an old jail, but then again, like there's only so much you could do in there, and I don't think they'd allow nudity, so that's no fun.
I'll get back to you on that. I might know some people.
All right.
Um, but yeah, no, I think a spiritual successor to Less Magic and the Witch's Sabbath would be fun.
Yeah.
'Cause, I really did like that one. I don't think I've had a chance to talk to you about that since you came on, but that one was really did enjoy that one.
Cool. Yeah, that one was fun to make.
And yeah, like you said, it was more serious than what you usually do.
Yeah.
Still in the goofy movie category, but goofy, like I said earlier, goofy in a good way. Not like, what in the fuck am I watching?
Yeah, I think it was Billy Peck that said it felt more mature.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that sounds right. So with like the Babezilla movies and things, like you said, it's just you could write it with you find a dirty joke and you can just keep going. So it's that old adage of dick and fart jokes, and you can just
Yeah.
keep going. That
Yep.
wouldn't have worked with Less Magic and the Witch's Sabbath.
No. Yeah, there that was it had a really dark ending. So I kind of wanted to keep going with that kind of feel too.
Well, and the fact that you guys did so much research into the lore and
Yeah.
everything to keep it as true as possible was just phenomenal.
Yeah, it was kind of like a love letter to Haxan, if you've ever seen that. That
Yeah.
was from I think 1920s, and it was the history of witchcraft. And yeah, I loved that. You just gotta not watch it with the original music, or you'll fall asleep.
So I watch a lot of things from the 20s with, like, I'll switch it up with like Metallica or Pantera.
Yeah, something.
It's a very interesting mix. So I know you said you have a screening coming up in Kansas City sometime in November.
Mhm.
What
Yeah.
else do you have coming down the pipe?
Well, I still have to make a music video for the title track song of Babezilla versus the Cyber Skanks. I made a trade deal with that one. I'm going to make a music video for the band for letting me use their song. And Morgan Millam and her husband John are making a kind of like a creep show kind of thing where they're bringing in different directors to make different stories, and they're gonna do a little collaboration thing. So I
Ooh,
have to a Halloween short. And
definitely
I
look
just
forward
came
to
up
that.
with a cool today for that.
Hell yeah. So before we put this to bed, where can listeners keep up to date with you and look for those upcoming projects?
I always visit hodgebob.com, HOJBOB.com. Find me on Instagram, Facebook. I just deleted my X account because it's not Twitter anymore. It's there's a lot of crazy racist stuff going on there, so I decided to step away from Twitter.
No, I get it. And listeners, I will put those links in the episode description. You can find me and other great podcasters over at electronicmediacollective.com, or just me at Moose Media Inc. on YouTube and X, or follow Moose's, just go to Moose's Monster Mash on Facebook. Probably the easiest. AJ, again, this has been fun.
Absolutely.
And I can't wait to see what else comes down the line, and at some point I'll get you back your mannequin.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Missing that from the basement collection.
Nah, it just sounds weird. But until next time, Horror Hounds, hash on.
This has been Moose's Monster Mash. Come back for more chills and thrills if you dare.